This conference will now be recorded.
So last class we have discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of Selenium. Yes or no? I mean, we have discussed about why Selenium, what are the advantages. Yes or no?
Yes.
The last Friday class. Now you should also know what are the cons of using Selenium. As I have told you, Selenium is only useful for web-based applications. It cannot support mobile-based or web-based or Windows-based applications. So that is the first 2 points. And third point that we have discussed in the last classes, it doesn't have any inbuilt reporting feature. And uh, another thing that I would like to explain you is Selenium does not automate any captchas, barcodes, fingerprints, etc., etc., etc. Clear?
Yeah.
Anyone could say the reason why Selenium does not automate any captcha, barcodes, or fingerprints or something like that?
Because captcha keeps on changing, right?
Okay. Okay. And anything else? Anything else? How about others? Hello. I'm asking you a question. Any reason? Anything like that? Like someone is saying like they are changing. Any other reason? The other reason would be like actually the captchas, the barcodes, the fingerprints are meant for only to detect whether it's a robot or it's a human. So if you are automating those things, or if it is possible to automate, then obviously your captcha, your barcode or fingerprint that you are using is not even strong. It's not even fitting the requirements that it should not be identifiable by a robot. That is the main purpose of captcha, barcodes, and fingerprints. Got it? Those are only meant for human activities. Whenever you find some captcha in your application in a testing environment, please ask your development team or the DevOps team to disable the captcha or any barcodes for a uh, seamless testing via automation. Clear, everyone? Clear?
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
So, if you want to have some reporting framework in your Selenium test suite, then you have to use some third-party frameworks like TestNG, Cucumber, etc., etc. TestNG, Cucumber, what is it and all, we'll be discussing in our future sessions once we start these topics. And another thing with Selenium is like the tools like UFT, RPA, these are paid tools. So you have a dedicated support team for it in case you have any issues or something. But whereas Selenium is open source, so definitely there won't be any vendor assistance or vendor prompt. So that's the main reason. That is one challenge. If you find some issues in it, you have to search it in your Selenium firms or Stack Overflow or something, and you have to resolve it by yourself. Another disadvantage is that we cannot perform any image processing related testing, and if you are using the tool as Selenium, you need to know some programming language. Like for Selenium with Java, that is the course. Everyone should know have the basics of Java. Suppose if you are trying to do in C sharp, everyone should have the basics about C sharp. That is another disadvantage. So the new features, like suppose today they have released a new feature in Selenium. Sometimes it may work in all the machines, sometimes it may not work in all the machines. These kind of challenges will be there. So that is why whenever we are choosing our Selenium version, we always take one or two versions lower than the latest version, so that we have a assurance that the older versions will work properly. The latest versions may or may not work properly in some of the systems. That is the problem. So Selenium does not support automation testing of audio and video. So we cannot say a bot cannot do a video and audio testing. Only a human can do those kind of testing. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yeah, Rangul.
Yeah.
So Selenium also has some challenges while handling with dynamic web elements, frames, pop-ups. Sometimes you will have some synchronization page load issues. In fact, in the Selenium 4, we have handled all these issues in a better way. Till Selenium 3, these were the issues: handling frames, pop-ups, timeouts, synchronization, page load issues, handling dynamic web elements. These were the part of Selenium 3 issues. So what they made in Selenium 4 is they ensured that the web elements are dealt in a dynamic way. We can able to handle the frames and pop-up at ease. We can handle any kind of timeout or load issues. So these are the main differences with respect to Selenium 3 and Selenium 4. Clear? So another thing that I would like to tell you is Selenium does not integrate with any test management tool. Okay. Uh, just a minute, guys. Just a minute. I'm so sorry. I just got a call from office. So sorry. So coming to this another thing that Selenium does not provide any support for integration with test management tools. So what do you mean by test management tools? Jira, HPLM, QTP. These are all the test management tools. So Selenium does not integrate with any kind of these tools directly. If you want to integrate, then you have to use some external plugins or something like that. Clear? Clear,
Yeah.
everyone? Vinay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Selen. Okay. So, how many of you are aware of this terminological software development lifecycle? Can anyone say their views about software development lifecycle and all the stuff?
Yeah. Currently, we are using this, so it is based on the like the whole life cycle of the product development, starting from the requirement gathering to the delivery of the product.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we are taking care of the testing life cycle. So it is similar to that only. So before coming to the testing, it is kind of analyzing the requirement and designing it, and then the unit testing, integration testing, and then they are giving it to the testing team for the test, and then it moved to the UAT, and then the reporting part. So yeah, this is all about the development life cycle.
Okay, that's interesting. How about others? How about others?
Yeah, like Vinay mentioned, we start with the planning phase. That is the project kickoff or initiation, and
Hmm?
then we have to gather the requirements. It is a requirement gathering, and then is a analysis. Like all these analysis, the solution architects, the business analyst, and all the business team will put in together. Like what are we gonna test, or what are the expectation from business? So that will be analyzed, and then we come into the DBTR phase. That is a design build testing report. So that starts from design, wherein we will be developing the scenarios and test cases. Also, we have a functional test plan, or the master test plan, which briefs you like what are the functionalities which are to be tested. So that will be the first point of the design phase. And then we have to develop the test cases. And then there is execution, test execution. If for a single application, it will be system testing, and if you are integrating with other platforms as well, then it will be system integration testing. And then after that, there will be UAT, that is user acceptance testing. And once that is done, it will be deployed in live. And even after that, there is an operation and maintenance. That is a maintenance period. Say, for example, if there are any live defects or so, testing team has to be in support to test and get the product delivered. So these are the different phases in software development lifecycle.
Nice, nice. Good to know. Any other person in the house would like to have a word about SDLC? Any other people in the class or in the house would like to share their views about SDLC? It's okay if it is repeatable also, it's fine, but I just want to know how much you know about it.
I think Rahul, we can proceed.
Okay, sure. But in this SDLC life cycle, what will be the role of automation? Like you have told me about SDLC, you have told me that this is this, that is that. You have told me the complete process. I'm happy with it. But where does the role of automation starts in this whole life cycle? Can anyone say? Whole idea of automation starts at which phase?
So basically, it starts after the testing is completed when the application is stable. So then we
Okay.
automate so it is basically in the operation and maintenance phase. So whenever some changes comes, so that we can automate it and we can do the regression of it. So we build the regression suits, and a small change can affect the multiple functionalities. So to test them, so once the application is stable, then only we automate the application, and to test the regression scenarios, we automate the application.
Sure, sure. That is nice. That is nice. That's what happens in general. In some of the companies, what happens, like in the last class, some lady called Pravalika, right? Is Pravalika there? Pravalika, someone has asked me a question that during the sprint only they wanted to ask some automation. So in this phase, what happens means after 5 to 7 sprints, when we start automating the scripts, some people while they develop the application only, they'll ask us to have some automation scripts live into picture so that during the integration testing, they will also use our automation scripts. In some of the automation, this happens actually. Like during the design phase only, they'll ask us to design the framework so that once the development is completed after 5 to 7 sprints, they want their unit testing to be happen via automation, so that it will be like automation does not only support our testing team, it should also support our development team also. Sometimes deployment team will also be like execute them after each and every release, so that it makes my life easier. These kind of permutations combinations also will happen, guys. Clear?
Yeah, we are doing API testing, right, for the unit testing to automate the unit tests and for the integration part.
API testing is not necessary at the initial stage, but we are do the UI testing only. Actually, when are doing the UI testing, automatically the API flows, API navigations will happen internally, right?
Yeah.
So we need not cover API testing in initial part of API testing via automation in initial part. Okay.
Okay.
So any other doubts, anyone about this SDLC concept, where we start using it in automation, etc.? Any other doubts, anyone? If there is no doubts, then I'll proceed further.
No, Rahul, I think we can proceed.
Sure, sure. So this is STLC life cycle. So can anyone could explain about STLC? What is STLC? What is it all about?
Yeah. So what we are doing, so at the initial, when the requirement comes, so we gather the requirements, we analyze the requirement, and then we make the test plan, like how we will do the whole testing and till its delivery to its reporting. So we'll analyze and we'll plan the whole testing part, and then we develop the test cases. So test cases development based on the scenarios of the requirement, and then we set the environment, like in which environment we have to test. Like we can test developers test on the devil, and we in our project there are few environments like devil environment, test environment, and then the ACCS and the higher environment. So we team does the unit testing and integration testing on devil environment, and we do the testing on test environment. So this is the part of environment setup, and the environment should be stable while we are testing. And in the text execution part, we are executing the test cases, and in case we find any bugs, so we report it in the tools like Jira and Spira. So we are using these tools, and after executing the test cases, we just report it, we deliver it to the UAT for the further testing. And in UAT there are two types of testing which they are doing, our client are doing, like alpha testing and beta testing. So after that, after every test part testing has been done, then we move it to the production, and this is the test closure part. So yeah, this is all about it.
Okay, that's nice of you. And how about others? Would you like to add some views about STLC? Why we are going through all this STLC, SDLC and all? Because the first moment when you're stepping into automation, you need to know the basics of SDLC and STLC. Because without you knowing the phases of the whole software life cycle or uh, software life cycle and all the stuff, without showcasing all those things, how will you know which at what stage you need to automate, and what is the requirement from the organization, what is the requirement from the whole organization, without knowing these points? Am I right or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So that is the main reason we are dealing with all these points. If you are not so sure about all these points, then it is very difficult for us to start our automation. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How about others? Are they clear with this whole point about require the test plan, SDLC and STLC?
Yeah.
So when it comes to STLC, I would like to add a couple more points. As our friend said, it goes to UAT and all the steps. Sometimes what happens when it comes to automation, UAT happens in a different virtual machine or different environment or altogether a different machine. And our local QA testing happens in a local machine or local virtual machine. So there is obviously a shift in environment or shift in changes, right? Obviously, when there's a change in machine. So you should also ensure that in spite of whatever infrastructure changes happens, we have to ensure that our automation script is working properly. Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Any doubts?
No.
So Rahul, I have one doubt. Like after we are doing the testing, so we are automating the application after its testing has been done, right? So
Yes,
that if
yes,
any
yes.
change comes, yeah. So basically, it's a kind of regression suite which we are making in the
uh,
Selenium.
Yeah, I would like to correct that one word, brother. Actually, what happens means in the real time, I mean, in the as per ideal situation is you have to automate the regression flow. But these days, what is the trend of automation is going in such a way that they're asking us to automate each and every hook or crook so that it makes our life easier. So it will be like after a while they'll ask you to automate the smoke suit. See, you have a 35 cases smoke suit. You automate it now, bro. After the while you can start executing your cases. Then after a while they'll be like automate the small cases. Then integration testing make cases also you automate. Like this, you'll get a lot of new requests, new requirement. Sometimes the organization will be like, okay, we have automation team. Let's use them for data generation. Let's use them for generating huge amount of payments in the payload. You will hear these kind of requirements. They'll ask us to do some sort of load testing via automation also. Got it? The dynamics of automation have changed a lot.
Yeah. So then also means after the application is developed and is stable, then only we automate, right?
Yeah. That's
Or
the ideal
before.
situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the ideal situation. We have to automate. But sometimes what happens is like after 5 sprints, as I've told you in the previous class, after 5 sprints, they'll ask us, they'll run behind us to start automation no matter what. Because it's these days what is happening is the name automation is sounding like a gala term, like a like a party term in most of the companies. It's like good to have automation, it reduces our work, but most of the people don't know how much efforts you need to put in developing the script, how much efforts we need from the development side also to build a stable application. If there is no stable application you can't build it actually. But sometimes we have to follow the ordination things also. Whatever is said is absolutely right. That works in ideal world. But in the real world, sometimes what happens? They'll ask us to start automation in even though the application is not fully stabilized. Clear?
Yeah, yeah, Rahul.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other doubts? Hmm?
Hi,
Not
Rahul.
from my side. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, please call me Rahul. Don't no sirs here, please.
yeah, Rahul. I'm new to IT industry and I don't know much more about testing. So, as you said, after completion of manual testing, only automation testing can take place, right?
Yes. After a successful round of manual testing only, then automation testing will come into picture. In the ideal world.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's my question. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, since you're new into this testing industry or new into this automation, my suggestion is to just go with the flow. Whenever we are using some manual testing terminologies, just pause me there. I'll help you explain some terminologies that I know. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's help to me.
Hmm. So this is the complete Selenium suite that it is offering actually. This is the suite that is being offered by the Selenium team. So what is it? Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium Web Driver, Selenium Grid. These are the 4 tools that are offered from the Selenium side. So actually the concept of Selenium has started in the year 2004. So a person was I don't know the exact person name. I don't remember the person name. That's my problem. That well. So what happened? He started the concept of Selenium in the year 2004. So in the year 2004, that person was working at ThoughtWorks company. So since he's working at ThoughtWorks company, he's a developer. By nature, he's a developer. He's not a tester. By nature, he's a developer. And during those days, what happens? There was no dedicated testing team to do some integration testing and all. So what happened? He felt like, okay, let me build some small tool to perform my unit testing or something like that. So he was fed up of doing some manual rounds of testing again and again and again and for multiple releases. So that is where the journey of Selenium started. And and there is one small joke regarding the Selenium. In the era of 2000 to 2004, QTP was the tool that is leading in automation, no matter for web-based or desktop-based application. So that was invented by whom? Mercurial Systems. Mercurial Systems was the owner of the QTP tool. Actually, in the olden days, saying Selenium is the antidote to all the mercury related diseases. So that is the main reason why he has put the name as Selenium, because it should be anti to the QTP tool. That is the main reason the word Selenium came. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yes, 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 sir.
I mean, why I'm saying a bit of history is some people might ask you this question: why only Selenium? They can put platinum, they can put gold. These kind of stupid questions also you'll get. That's the reason I faced it in one of the interviews. So the first tool that is invented across the whole Selenium suite is Selenium IDE. That is invented in 2004. As I've told, the person is working in ThoughtWorks. So Selenium IDE is a record and playback tool. Simply it records your flow and playbacks the same flow. That is it. All about. Then later in 2006, some Japanese person has invented the Selenium RC because there were some disadvantages of Selenium IDE that will be going through it in a phased manner. I'm just giving you an overview of all the tools that we are working with. So
So
currently
Rahul,
the
ID and RC stands for?
IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. RC stands
Okay.
for Remote Control Server. We'll be discussing in detail about this too. That's not a problem.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Now currently in the current market, what we are using is Selenium Web Driver. Okay. Then later there is a tool called as Selenium Grid. So Selenium Grid is somewhat like a hub and node concept for executing in distributed environments. So this is the overview of the Selenium suite. So let us go in detail about Selenium IDE. Okay, before we go in detail about Selenium IDE, let me discuss how do we do it. Selenium IDE is only for interview sake. Apart from that, in real time, you'll never ever use it. Okay, search in Google Selenium IDE. Actually, Selenium IDE was supposed to work in Firefox only, but recent times like 2017 onwards, they have given this feature for Chrome. Okay, so Selenium IDE is an extension. 1 minute, let me open my notepad. Selenium IDE is an extension. Okay, not a jar file or a plugin. Okay, you can add this from your browser. So how do we add it? Are you able to see this first link? Whenever I'm typing Selenium chrome.google.com details Selenium IDE, you can see this. Yes or no? Hmm?
Yeah, yeah.
So I've already installed Selenium IDE in my system. What I will do is I will remove from my Chrome website. Then it'll ask a pop-up like I want to remove Selenium IDE or not. So I'll click on remove. So this is the default. This is how you see your plugin or something. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to click on add to Chrome. Okay. You have to click on add to Chrome. Then add Selenium IDE. So it can access the page debugger. This all stuff will come. Then you have to click on add extension. Okay. Once you have added the extension, are you able to see this extension plugin? Everyone are able to see this plugin? Hmm? Is everyone able to see this plugin symbol, guys?
Yeah, Raghav.
So once you click on this plugin, you will see your Selenium IDE plugin here. Okay. Okay. So we need to click on the Selenium IDE. Okay. You need to click on the Selenium IDE plugin. Then a pop-up will open like this. Welcome to Selenium IDE. Would you like to record a new test in a new project? Open an existing project, create a new project, and close. So this is the first time we are creating. So what I will do, like I will record a new test in a new project. Okay. I'll click on this hyperlink. Then my project name will be like first ID. I'll put like this. Okay. Then I'll click on OK. Then you have to queue the application URL that you are using for recording purpose. So what I'll do, I'll take some ClickBus site just for the sake of taking it. I'll take a ClickBus site. I'll put it here. Then I'll have to click on start recording. So what I will do, uh, I'll I'll click on this points table. I'll click on this some team called Rise and Royals. Then I'll click on this players. So once you have recorded the flow, what you have to do is, so you have to click on the stop button. Okay, are you able to see the stop button, everyone? Yes or no? You have to
Yes,
click on
Rahul.
this. You have to click on the stop recording button. Once you stop the recording, it will ask us for the test case name. So I'll be like bus demo. So this is how I save my test case. This is the test case I have saved now. So what I will do is, I have recorded my flow. Now what I want to do, I want to play back the same flow. Got it? Got it, everyone? So what I'll do, I'll click on run current test. The moment you click on run current test, it will go to the navigations that we have done. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yes, Rahul.
Hmm. So this is the thing with Selenium IDE. We record and playback. Now another beautiful feature with Selenium IDE is it has its own logging mechanism. Are you able to see it's having its own logging mechanism? Hmm? It is only selecting open on window, set window size, link text, CSS, whatever actions is performing on the application. It has a record of it. Clear? Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Now what you need to do is, if you want to reduce, suppose now it is executing at a faster pace. Now we want to control slower down the execution of speed. So what I'll do, I'll reduce the speed of the execution, then I'll run the program. So observe it carefully. Now the execution becomes slow. So execution has slowed down a bit. So are you able to see the difference in execution speed compared to previous and now new one? Hmm?
Yeah, Rahul.
So clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? Any doubts?
No, no, Rahul.
So in the real time, we will not use Selenium IDE. We will use only Selenium IDE. Suppose some customers will come to your office. They'll be like, I want a demo of your application. So sometimes what happens, some people who are smart enough, what they do is, they don't want to show them manually. They'll like, okay, let's record a flow in Selenium IDE and let's demonstrate to them so that it looks like, okay, this guy is using some record and playback tools to demo for the demonstration sake. It's pretty impressive. These kind of feedbacks you will get it. So it's a simple record and playback tool which does not require any coding knowledge at all. Okay, clear, everyone?
Yes, Rahul.
Okay, so let me close the Selenium IDE. So as I've told you, it's very easy to install and use. No programming experience is required, even though the HTML and DOM are needed. You can export these test cases to Selenium RC and Web Driver. It has built-in help and test results module. Provides supports for extensions. These are the things that it has. As you Are you able to feel the advantages of Selenium IDE? Is everyone able to feel the advantages of Selenium IDE? Very easy to use, no programming experience is required, etc. etc. Is it clear or not for everyone?
Yeah,
So
Rahul.
yeah, Rahul. So whenever we are automating anything by using the programming language, so do we integrate this recording somewhere? Like if we want to record something in the middle of writing a code. So can we integrate it or can we connect it with the IDE?
No. You cannot downgrade from WebDriver to IDE. You can upgrade from IDE to WebDriver, but you cannot downgrade from WebDriver to IDE.
Okay.
Because record and playback is something, and the one you're expecting is something else.
So
This
it is
record and
separate. It
playback
is
tool,
totally a different, separate part of the automation, right? It is
yeah, it's
totally
totally
different.
yeah, it's totally different. Because in the olden days, having a record and playback tool was like achievement, considering the age of 2005 and 2006 era. Those days, having a record and playback tool is like amazing. Yes or no?
Yeah, true.
So that's the main reason. And another thing is that it is good for prototype. Like if you want to, it's designed only to create a prototype of test. So you can show a prototype of a product by using the record and playback system, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I need an answer. Yeah. So it does not support any iterational conditional operations. That means what? You cannot put some if-else conditions. You cannot use some looping conditions, like how many number of test cases you need, times you need to execute a test case. If some conditions are not matching, then you have to go to another part. Those kind of things can't be done using Selenium IDE. And available only in Firefox. This was the case only till 2018, 17, 18. After 2018, it is available in Firefox and Chrome only. It is not available in any other browser apart from Firefox and Chrome. So test execution is slow compared to that of Selenium RC and WebDriver. Clear? Clear everyone?
Yeah, Rahul.
Okay. Any doubts so far in the session?
No, not from my side.
How about others?
Not from me either.
Okay. Nice. So, I'm so sorry for the delay that I've started my session 20 minutes late because I had some important meeting to take care of it. I'm so sorry. I will ensure that this will not be repeated again. So, coming to the Selenium RC and Selenium Web Driver, we will deal with this in the next session, that is tomorrow. So, we'll deal with Selenium RC and Web Driver and what is what and all the stuff in the tomorrow's session. And tomorrow onwards, we will start working on the installations of JDK and Eclipse. Okay. Is it good for everyone?
Yes.
So, we'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's session is pretty much important because we will be covering the installation part and all the stuff also. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Rahul.
Okay.